animals see, before taking this in detail, in this chapter we will learn about the earthworm first, then cockroach, and then the frog. Actually, frog is not there in the syllabus, NEET syllabus, but comparatively study related to that questions will be asked in the NEET exam. So, we had learned that the fundamentally 4 tissues are present in the animals: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, skeletal tissue, and nervous tissue. But all these tissues are united together and form the organ. And so many organs united together and form organ system. So to study the evolutionary changes, we have to study the different organs as well as organ system in different organisms. Just for example, external morphology. You know that morphology means study of the external features. So we have to see that external features in different organisms. Differentiation occur in the digestive system, circulatory system, like that, respiratory system, nervous system, reproductive system. In all the systems, each and every organism has diversification. So, to study the evolutionary changes, we have to study the different organism in detail. So you know that when we move towards the animal kingdom, okay, animal kingdom, in that first is Annelida. So first this is earthworm belonging to Annelida. Then cockroach belonging to Arthropoda, and then frog belonging to Amphibia. So first of all, we will learn in detail about the earthworm, then cockroach, and then frog. So let us discuss of earthworm in detail. Earthworm is belonging to Annelida phylum, as well as here you know that in earthworm the body is metamerically segmented. Earthworm is hermaphrodite. We say that it is bisexual animal. Okay, and scientific name is Pheretima posthuma. Pheretima posthuma, and here body is metamerically segmented. Into 100 to 120 segments. The body of the earthworm is divided into 100 to 120 segments. How we identify the earthworm? Dorsal side and ventral side, later on I will tell you, but during daytime it is mostly seen on the upper surface of the soil. It feeds soil particles. During daytime it lives on the surface of the soil, uppermost surface, and due to the pointed portion in the anterior most part of the body, it breaks the large soil particles and make the soil soft and fertile. It feeds on the soil particles, dead as well as decaying matter of the organism. So the organism which live on the dead as well as decaying matter, this is known as saprophytic type of the nutrition. And along with that, it is decomposer. You know that the organic components present in the dead and decaying matter So it obtains the nutrition from these organic components and convert them into inorganic components. So this is known as decomposition. So decomposers are known as scavengers of the earth. So this is about the brief information. Continued with that portion, few points are remaining there. See, earthworm removes soil particles, so it eats the soil particle as well as it obtains the nourishment from it also. So soil particles are transported through the whole digestive tract, and at last in the small pits, small elevating portions, the earthworm removes the soil particle. This phenomenon is known as worm casting. Worm casting is a one type of the egestion in the earthworm. And by this worm casting, we trace the earthworm easily in that region. So if you found the worm casting, so immediately we get the idea that earthworm is somewhere present very nearer to that region. And another point, earthworms are friends of farmers. So farmers culturing or cultivate the earthworm in the soil, and this phenomenon is known as vermicomposting. According to the excretory system, earthworm is ureotelic animal. Earthworm is ureotelic animal. So earthworm excrete the urea. So urea is present in the soil, and urea is nitrogen containing compound. Due to the excretion of the earthworm, the urea containing soil is rich in the nitrogen. So as a result, earthworm makes the soil soft as well as more fertile. And this phenomenon is known as vermicomposting. So now you cleared the meaning of the worm casting and vermicomposting. Both the words are totally different. How we identify the dorsal side of the body? Dorsal side can be identified by the dark line present on it. This dark line is known as dorsal vessel. So on the mid of the body, the one dark line is there, and this is known as dorsal vessel, and that's why that region is known as dorsal side. Whereas ventral side, ventral side is identified by presence of germ pore. So few openings are there on the earthworm body: male genital pore, germ pore or genital pore. Okay, both are same here. So on the ventral side, male genital pore and female genital pore is present. When you see the anterior most portion, when you see the anterior most portion of the earthworm body, so on the first fragment, see, the first fragment is known as peristomium. Yes, the first fragment is known as peristomium. This is the first fragment. So, in the first fragment, you see that the pointed portion here, which is helpful for breakdown of the rocks and make the soil soft. This is known as prostomium. See, don't do the mistake here. Prostomium is present in the peristomium. So, peristomium is the first fragment of the earthworm, and here on the topmost side prostomium is there, and this prostomium makes the soil soft, as well as at the bottom side mouth is present. Okay, so this is the anterior most segment of the earthworm. See, on the 14th to 16th segment, on the dorsal side of the body, one dark glandular region is present. When you see the earthworm, you know that now that on the dorsal side, dorsal vessel is there, mid dorsal line or dorsal vessel is there. So that dorsal vessel is present, that region is known as dorsal side. And ventral sides can be identified by presence of the germinal pores, genital pores. So on the 14th to 16th segment, dark glandular region is there, and this region is known as clitellum. See, this clitellum is very, very important in fertilization process. Generally here what happened during reproduction procedure, this clitellum region produce the cocoon. Cocoon is just like a straw. Yes, the small fragment of the straw, this is known as cocoon. When this cocoon move through the male reproductive part and female reproductive part in the earthworm, male and female gametes are introduced inside it. Both the open ends are closed now, and inside the cocoon, male and female gametes are fused together to form the zygote. Okay, so clitellum is very, very important at the time of the formation of the cocoon in reproduction procedure. So I can write here, it is very helpful structure to produce cocoon at the time of reproduction procedure. So now, according to this clitellum, according to the clitellum, you know that 14th to 16th segment, the dark glandular region is known as clitellum. So according to this clitellar region, the body of the earthworm, it is divided into 3 regions. It is very easy to understand. The body of the earthworm, it is divided into 3 regions. Preclitellar region, it is present in 1 to 13th segments. Clitellar region or glandular region, it is present in the 14th to 16th segment. Whereas the postclitellar region, it is present from the 16th to the last segment. Fine. So according to this, the earthworm's body, it is divided into 3 parts. Now in 5 by 6, 6 by 7, 7 by 8 and 8 by 9 intersegmental groove. So you know that here in the earthworm the body is metamerically segmented. The body is segmented internally as well as externally. So between the two lobes, between the two segments, in between the fifth and sixth segment, intersegmental groove, on the ventral side, one pair spermatical apertures are there. So here I can write that on the ventral side. Okay, and this each and every spermatical apertures. So 5 by 6 intersegmental septum, 5 by 6 intersegmental septum, suppose here the one pair of spermatical apertures are present. So these spermatical apertures are now connected to the spermatheca. Spermatheca are nothing but the bag-like structure present in the next segment which stores the sperms. So similarly here between the 6th and 7th intersegmental septum, the spermatical apertures now connected to the spermatheca which is present in the 7th segment. So in 6, 7, 8 and 9th segment, one pair of spermatheca are present, and each and every spermatheca which is now connected to the one pair of the spermatical apertures. Here earthworm is hermaphrodite. So now I am talking about the male genital pore and female genital pore. On 18th segment, on the ventral side, laterally on the both the sides, one pair male genital pores are present. Similarly, on the 14th segment, ventrally, fine, on the mid side, middle of that 14th segment, female genital pore is present. And now See, the last point. In each segment on both the sides except the first, last and clitellar region. In each segment except the first, last and clitellar region. On ventral side, on the both the sides laterally, setae are present, and setae is made up of chitin. So these setae are important for locomotion as well as movement. So as you know that earthworm is doing the movement like this. So in the earthworm's body, the circular and longitudinal muscles are there. So this setae is helpful for movement as well as locomotion in the earthworm. So this is the information of the earthworm. Remaining things we will discuss in the next lecture.